what is it about Defy All The Rules that kind of speaks to you? Because clearly, if we were to ignore all the rules in life, we'd all be in trouble. But under what circumstances are you encouraging us all to go out and tear up the rule book?
Defy All The Rules, I think, so Defy All The Rules stems from actually kind of when I came out and trying to fit in, trying to be normal, trying to be the same as my friends, trying to be fit into society and lead this normal, in hyphenated brackets, comma things, speech bubbles, normal lifestyle, and I couldn't. So it kind of stems from that. And I think, yeah, okay, you can't defy all the rules with regards to breaking the law and, you know, being civil and all the rest of it, and being a lovely, all-round, polite, nice person. But defy all the rules to me means that you, I guess, think outside the box. Whatever normal means, don't be it. And to really, I think, be yourself. Like, don't try and conform. Don't try and follow the crowd. Don't be a sheep. Be you, do you. And it doesn't matter. And something I really, really struggle mentally with is people not liking me or thinking that someone maybe doesn't like me. So actually boxing that off and say, not everyone in life is going to like you. And
you don't need everybody
dealing with that. No. And I think it really is just all about being you, and not, I've never followed the trend when it comes to haircuts and all that kind of thing. Like, I've put some horrors out recently on Facebook. And, I think at Romans, doing things, I dyed my hair bright red at Romans, like fire engine red. And of course I got hauled up in front of HR and told to dye it back to a natural hair color. But when I did it, it felt quite empowering to do it. Don't have tattoos on show. So what do? Go and get a tattoo on my wrist. That's always going to be on show.
So you're a bit of a rebel. You're pushing against your boundaries, but you're doing that because you feel that you need to be individual, but also in general, I get the impression that you're not a crazy rule breaker. You're not going to go out and set fire to something. But where it comes to sort of making your mark, living your life as an individual, you're not afraid to express that and to push against what you consider to be conventional norms, if you like. Would that be right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think if you look at kind of when, like, don't want to make this everything about me being gay, but my gay journey, what we've achieved since I came out as a gay community, marriage, or civil partnerships, then marriage, being able to have babies, being able to adopt, so much has been achieved in equality. And I think that kind of goes in line, like, again, along with the workplace, so, look at how women have become and are becoming more equal. There's a long way to go still, but we're getting there.
We're at this wonderful then moment, aren't we, in sort of modern history and modern life, where we have all the tools to express our individuality. So we've got social media, we can broadcast to the world what it is that we're thinking or feeling and saying. At the same time, there is that inverse pressure on us to conform to what other people are doing on those platforms as well. So for argument's sake, Instagram, you have to be smiley and happy and everything's great and life's always in the sunshine. And we feel sometimes that we need to play up to that. From all my conversations with you, I know I can be honest with you. So when you ask me how I'm doing, if I'm not doing okay, I can tell you that, can't I? I don't have to be the person that says, yeah, everything's all right. And I think
if anybody says to me, I'm fine or I'm okay, I will literally cut them short and say, no, you're not. Talk to me. what's going on? Like, if someone says I'm fine or I'm okay, and they say it with real passion, they're not. And there's a lot of people struggling right now, and I'm struggling right now. I had a rubbish week last week, and I just think you've got to just do you and don't apologize for it.
Okay, I'll take that. If I could ask you as well, I mean, there are. It's funny because the time we're talking at the moment, I think we just got feels like our 5th Prime Minister of the week, but we've just got a new Prime Minister. We've had a rough couple of weeks as far as an economy and confidence, and also, I suppose, our own image of ourselves as a nation. Sometimes, it's been a little bit embarrassing here and there. And I know that the easiest way to deal with all of this is to shut the news off and not to concentrate on it. But there are some very real challenges facing agents, and we could pick the obvious ones.
Mhm.
But for you, if you could pick one key challenge that you think affects the property market right now or affects agents, what do you think it is? If you could pick one.
Oh, there's so many. And talking to our agents, there's so many frustrations out there. But I think in my world at the moment, I think the key one has got to be transaction times. And I think the ease of buying a property, because I do believe if it was easier, then it wouldn't be so scary. I just think the whole system is broken with regards to how archaic it is to buy a property in this country. And you look at all the withdrawals and the fall throughs that have happened over the last few weeks with no consequences, no compensations, no, someone, and I'm sure people did, pulled out literally days before an exchange, and
Yeah.
the money people will have lost, the feelings, the hurt that you feel, and I've seen firsthand that sellers and buyers have when a sale falls apart at the last minute, and all because of our poxy government who can't organise a piss up in a brewery.
Yeah. Well,
And
it's funny you
I
say
just,
that. Yeah.
it's, if we had the Scottish system, for example, which I'm sure again has its flaws. If I spoke to Paul Rolfe, for example, he moans about it as well. But at least when you make an offer up there, it's legally binding.
So you know what? I think feeding into what you said last about sort of, you're quite a passionate campaigner for sort of mental health awareness as well, but not just tokened, for people to actually talk about it.
Mhm.
And if I had to tell you where our bad mental health as an industry comes from, I think part of that stems from the fact that we have a job and a role and businesses that are based on that notion that we only get paid if these deals go through.
Yeah.
We've got a lot riding on that roller coaster, and those deals fall through. Now, you just talked rightly so about the buyer and the seller, because they're the stars of the show. We're just in the background there. But if we were to flip that for a second, for an agent, we don't get paid unlike solicitors who get paid abortive transaction costs, we're not going to see a penny if these deals don't go through.
No, it's devastating.
And I feel that somehow as an industry, we've not set enough time aside or dedicated efforts to trying to fix that. It's a major hole in the way that we work, isn't it?
Yeah, even when a seller just takes a property off the market before you've even sold it, it's still devastating because you put so much time and effort into it. I remember doing open houses in the pouring down rain on a Saturday afternoon, and you've shown around 20 odd couples, and then you get a couple of offers, and then it comes to the Monday morning and the seller's like, oh, actually no, we've been thinking over the weekend, and we've decided it's not the right time for us. And it's devastating, absolutely gutting, not only from a cost point of view, but an emotional bank account point of view. I always used to get my staff to rate their mental bank account,
Yeah,
every week.
That's a really interesting notion, that.
Yeah, and very simply 1 to 5, not 10, that's too many. because your emotional bank
I'm
account is
over
really
my
good.
overdraft limit, let me tell you.
You know, but if the whole team was down, I would get in bacon rolls and a can of Red Bull for them on a, you know, it could be a Friday morning, and we just needed that last push, that last team camaraderie. Right, there's your bacon bap. Let's get the Red Bulls in us. Let's, you know, and it's, you do as a team. If you've got a team, I mean, the self-employed agents, I really feel for those guys at the moment. They're on their own a lot of the time. So when that happens, you've got no one to rant at, to slam the phone down and kick and scream, and it gets like that. But I think, you know, keeping as a leader your team's mental bank accounts are so important. And
that's a great tip, actually, in order, you know, that exercise of getting your team to sort of account for that. I tell you who does that during his training sessions, Stephen Brown, your good friend of mine. But Stephen Brown does this thing at the beginning of the session where you walk into the room and you'll see it every time, that he's got the scoreboard lined up, and there's two numbers that next to your name that you need to fill in, and one will be for how you're doing personally out of 10, and how your business is doing out of 10. And very often, you know, you can have a business that's doing 10 and you might be personally at 1. You might have a business that's 1, but you're feeling personally 10. I mean, it'd be strange, but you could do it. But he gets you to sort of account. You have to verbalize why it is that you feel that way. And I think that's kind of what you did with your teams. And I think that's it's a great exercise to carry out, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. There's lots of ways you can do it. There's lots of different ways. But, you know, if it was only one team member that was kind of down in the dumps, you know, you can take them for a walk. You know, just get at the office, maybe take them on a leaflet drop. I know leaflets are a bit old-fashioned now, but I'm a firm believer in the old sold in your road leaflet. And it gives you a great chance to actually take a team member out, have a good natter with them. Because you're so frantic. It's odd that you spend, you know, I was spending 11, 12 hours of my day with my team. You know, we do tend to spend more time in the office than we do at home, right? But often you don't really get to know your staff. So I think you really have to do that now, and understand what challenges they have at home, because often what's going on at home reflects how they are at work. 9 times out of 10, I'd say something's happening in their personal life, which is maybe bringing them down at work.
That's brilliant.
So you have to understand that.
Thank you very much for your time today.